because they're in the process of identifying what the cells and the ownership, and then who will be paying, that kind of thing. And I expect that we'll likely have a request there as well. And then, of course, the issue around the cutting of the roadsides, that's something for staff to discuss as well. And the last item as well. So I guess just to refer this back to staff for an update and bring it back.
And you use the money in the budget.
You use the money in the budget that's there. Yeah, absolutely.
Let them
deal with it.
You'll make that a motion? You refer
Yes.
this to staff and let them carry on. Councillor Scott?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And I'd like to speak to that, please.
Okay.
Last year we approved $5,000 for Sunfish Bay, and this year we put in $7,000 dollars for this year. So I know that they've got various things to go. We haven't paid from last year's budget the $5,000 because the treatment doesn't happen until September or August, September timeframe. So I think it was $7,000 we approved the budget, because I'd asked for 10 and we took it down because they'd only spent 7 last year. So they do have some work that they've gone out and done ahead. They've done some areas in the Port Franks, down Red Creek and down in the Nature Conservancy area and out doing that. So that will require, as well as I believe it's Large Island too, right? Large Island's been done. So there's already been some work done in progress. I can also say that Little Island, or Mosquito Island as it's often called, shows very little frag growing back since the application last year. I think there's somebody's told me about half a dozen strands. And I know that the beach has probably 3 or 4 different small sections, Nancy. So that there's some small sections there that they're going to reapply and remove that. So they're having great success. I know that Grand Bend is going to come forward. I believe they've mapped everything now, Nancy?
Yes.
So they've mapped everything in Grand Bend, and have they identified who the ownership? They have done that. So they'll be looking at that as well. And I know they're coming forth in a group. So I'm hoping that we'll kind of refer that back to the one group, because they're our working group, and that they can work in conjunction with that when they come forward to do the presentation like we've done with the Trails Group.
So the motion can be that we authorize staff to work with the groups within the parameters of the budget and deal with the issues that on our property that are coming forward.
Yeah.
And then it's staff can. Mayor Day.
Yeah, and that's great. I'm happy to let staff work with that. But one thing that I was talking with the committees and committee representatives about, and I feel it would be very helpful if we focus on getting as much training with that money as well to be able to address it. They're certainly going to be doing that, but I know that there's some educational sessions which are educational, there's some that are training sessions, and I'd like us to see us get a good balance there and really have people equipped to address it to the fullest extent possible. And whether it's our staff or people in the community that are willing to volunteer and use that money to multiply itself if possible.
I want to echo the comments here, but I'm wondering if we could make a decision tonight in terms of coordination, because I think that's going to be the issue, is that we do have the Grand Bend group. I was going to bring it up under council reports and refer it to Councillor Scott, because she's kind of the frag queen.
Next week.
Fragmite. But I think that's going to be the issue, is coordinating that with a limited budget. They need $1,000 and
Graham next week.
right on the Port Franks was doing so well. So I'm wondering, I like your idea if we could have the motion reflect that staff become the coordinating body that we can refer people to, and then they can kind of watch the money, the work that's being done, and
That's where it's going.
yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor of that motion? Thank you. 7.2, this is the Canada Day Celebrations Fireworks Committee, and they're asking to do what they've done for the last number of years. Again, I believe this is an issue that staff should be able to, when we've got beach juice study. This isn't a commercial operation. This is
A motion that they can go out.
they can go. Let them go. Councilor McGuire. there from the Trails Committee, the fundraising dance for 2013, and I know we're doing a report coming up dealing with rental units, so that might be part of that report. And the second one's for pedestrian bridge. Councillor Scott had her hand up.
Well, are we just going to take the fundraising dance and put it back into that report? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I think that would be appropriate. We're talking about all the user groups in the area and what we're charging and who gets free use and who gets a covering cost use, and that was.
So this is a working group of ours, so who has no money because they don't charge memberships and things like that. So I want you to keep that in mind.
I'm just saying, how do you balance it out that you get a true cost of it?
Well, we need those volunteers out there in the community.
Sure. Councillor Russell.
I think we should do exactly what you're saying. We're in the middle of looking at something which is larger. They'd like to get their date on the calendar. You know, everybody has their dates. I think they had a good dance this year. They'd like to have their date. So that, the other part of the fees associated, that would go with the report that's coming in. But that's one separate issue. That's why I think there's two, because that one, I think we can say, go book your date and the school will give you the, so you can answer that. But number two is a little different because we probably don't have a report on that right now through you two, John. We don't as council, do we?
Yeah.
Not for a while, and for.
No, we reported back in October, I think, of 2011 on the methodology, then it was tabled pending the formation of the committee, so you can bring it back.
We'll get a further report on that. So motion to receive this with those, in that direction. Councillor Underwood.
So the recommendation is to untable that report, to give it to the Trail Committee, is that what that is? When you said it was tabled before, we have to raise that up so you can give it to me.
Basically, what I'm gonna need is direction from council to have the solicitor develop the necessary agreement to, for your terminology is, but to allow us to access the Nature Conservancy land.
What we're gonna do is bring it back that we can look at it.
Yeah, it's on the first part of the motion, yes.
And the first part of the motion is to refer the first part back to the staff work that's already been conducted on.
On using our facilities.
Yeah.
Facilities. Councillor Owen? Second by Councillor Scott? I don't know who did that before.
Yes, we've done that.
Okay. All in favor of that? That's carried. 7.4, this is the Cranbourne United Church Council looking for a way to operate their parking lot with the donations to help people in the area. Councillor Ullman?
Well, I guess that the next two or three items here are really items that we need to refer back to staff and to the planning, because there are implications here. Certainly this is, these folks are being entrepreneurial and that's wonderful, but then there are implications. And so I think we need to hear back from staff about the implications and recommendations.
I think there's some possible, we have to look at what doors it's open, what precedents it's setting. And I guess I have a concern with the